When I first began my journey to comprehend how women think and what draws them in, I frequently heard the saying, "Ignore her and she'll chase you." I attempted to implement this advice, expecting results, but I was met with disappointment. I began to suspect that this popular notion was nothing more than empty rhetoric, but over time I stumbled upon a profound realization. This phrase was just the tip of the iceberg, a surface-level expression of a deeper concept rooted in the psychology of attraction. It wasn't that the phrase itself was flawed, rather, the issue was my own misunderstanding of the underlying principles. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of women's psychology and how to apply the right mindset to make her irresistibly drawn to you. This episode is a pivotal one in our series on how to attract women, so I encourage you to pay close attention. Let me start by addressing a trait that universally repels women, something that unfortunately many men embody without even realizing it. What is this trait, you ask? It's neediness. Now, you might be thinking, I'm not needy. But here's the hard truth. Most men are, to varying degrees. Neediness isn't just the obvious behaviors like obsessively checking her phone, bombarding her with texts, or getting irrationally jealous every time she's not with you. It manifests in subtler, less conspicuous ways that come through in how you talk to her, how you treat her, and how you conduct yourself around her. The most glaring sign of a needy man is how he handles the dynamics of the relationship, regardless of whether you're meeting her for the first time, dating casually, or even in a long-term relationship. So, what do I mean by relationship dynamics? Simply put, it's about the balance of investment. How much time, energy, effort, and emotion are you pouring into this relationship? The more you invest in her without seeing a reciprocal return, the less attractive you become in her eyes. And I know this sounds counterintuitive, perhaps even cynical, but it's an undeniable truth. Let's break it down further. Imagine a graph where one axis represents your investment, time, effort, emotion, and the other axis represents her attraction to you. As your investment increases, her attraction to you decreases. Society might tell you that being a nice guy means showering her with attention, gifts, and undivided affection, but this couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is that the more you try to win her over with neediness, the more likely you are to land yourself in the friend zone, or worse, make yourself utterly unattractive to her. Here's the paradox. The men who are least needy, who give the least amount of effort in the beginning, often get the most in return. These men are perceived as having options, as being high value, and thus they naturally attract women. But why is this the case? What makes women instinctively drawn to men who appear to have zero neediness? The answer lies in evolutionary psychology, a topic we'll dive deeper into in future episodes. Let's explore neediness on a deeper level. It's not just about your overt actions, but the mindset that drives those actions. This is where subcommunication comes into play. Subcommunication refers to what your actions subtly convey about you. For example, if you buy a woman a drink at a bar or boast about your job, you might think you're making a good impression. But what you're actually communicating is a sense of inadequacy. You're signaling that you don't feel you're enough on your own, so you need to compensate with external things. This is a turnoff. Contrast this with a guy who playfully teases a woman, signaling confidence and a lack of neediness. His actions imply that he's evaluating her, not the other way around. This type of man is seen as more attractive because his behavior conveys high status and self-assurance. Let's categorize these different levels of neediness. Level 1. The needy man. This guy embodies neediness. He buys drinks for women he just met to buy their time and attention. When he finally gets a chance to talk, he brags about his job, his car, his apartment, and so on. He texts constantly, sends lengthy messages, and showers her with good morning and good night texts. On dates, he's overly accommodating, always asking what she wants to do, afraid to take the lead. His actions scream insecurity and a lack of options, which makes him unattractive. Level 2. The somewhat needy man. This guy isn't as bad as the level 1 needy man, but he still has traces of neediness. He can be easily triggered by a woman's comments, becoming defensive or insecure. For instance, if she jokingly calls him a player, he feels compelled to deny it and explain himself, which only reinforces her perception that he's not confident in who he is. Level 3, the non-needy man. This is the type of guy women find irresistible. He has nothing to prove. If she calls him a player, he might grin and play along, confident in his own worth. He's not seeking validation from her. Instead, he's evaluating whether she's worthy of his time. His actions convey self-assurance, confidence, and a sense of abundance, qualities that are magnetic to women. Now let's talk about the word ignore in the context of attraction. When you hear advice like, ignore her and she'll chase you, it's not about playing mind games or being aloof for the sake of it. It's about what that behavior signifies. Ignoring her, in this sense, is about demonstrating that you're not desperate, that you have your own life and priorities, and that you're not overly invested in her too soon. But let me be clear. I'm not here to give you surface-level tips that sound good but don't lead to real change. My goal is to help you understand the concept at a deeper level, to develop your mindset so that your actions naturally come from a place of confidence and non-neediness. This is the real key to attracting any woman you want. Neediness, as we've discussed, is a repellent. It's not just about the obvious signs like checking her phone or blowing up her inbox. It's about the underlying message your behavior sends. If you're overly invested too early, if you're acting like her boyfriend before she's even earned that role, you're signaling neediness. And trust me, women can pick up on this from a mile away. So, what's the takeaway here? First, recognize that neediness is the single most unattractive trait you can exhibit. Even if you look like a movie star, if you come across as needy, her attraction to you will plummet. Second, understand that it's all about subcommunication, what your behavior subtly says about you. And finally, remember that the less invested you are, the more invested she'll become. Women are biologically drawn to confident, dominant, and non-needy men. Those who have nothing to prove and everything to offer. In the upcoming episodes, we'll dive deeper into the evolutionary psychology behind these dynamics, and I'll share practical tips on how to shift your mindset from, I hope she likes me, to, let's see if I like her. By the way, thank you for helping us reach 4,000 subscribers. The community is growing, and I appreciate all the love and support. Please drop a comment below and let me know what challenges you're facing in your dating life so I can address them in future videos. Don't forget to hit that like button and drop a comment on this video. Until next time, this is Stoic Approach to Life.